Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. Today, special edition, Martin from Wargames UK is here on the channel and he has brought his white scars to play against the Drukhari all the way from England on the channel. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. Today we have Martin. Say hi. That's right, he's wearing his Batman t-shirt because he's going to make me scared of the night.
You've seen the night.
Yeah. And he's brought his white scars all the way down from the UK to play against the Drukhari. We're going down to the capital city Bloodbath, a big tournament in Ottawa. And it's a 2,000 point event run with index armies right now because all the codexes haven't had enough time since they were released. So he's running white scars, I'm running Drukhari. We're playing Contact Lost, so it's a Maelstrom where we have to have the objectives to take Maelstrom objectives, and Retrieval, which is the first mission. It's like a two-prong mission. So right now the Dark Eldar have finished deploying first, and they would like to go first. But what will happen as Martin might seize? Now, let's go take a look at the armies and we'll come back for the fateful roll. So we have 2,000 points of Drukhari Eldari. So we've got Archon Skari with his Agonizer. We've got a Succubus with an Archite Glaive. And this is a battalion detachment, by the way. We have 2 units of 5 Cablite Warriors with blasters, a unit of 8 Witches with an Agonizer. Then we have 8 Trueborn with 4 blasters and 2 Splinter Cannon. And in fast attack, 6 Reaver Jet Bikes with 2 Heat Lancers and an Agonizer, and 5 Scourge with 4 Heat Lancers. Rounding off the list, we have 5 Mandrakes, a Void Raven Bomber with missiles and lancers, a Razorwing Jet Fighter with lancers, 2 Ravagers with lances, and 3 Raiders, one of them for the Hazard Disintegrator as well. So that is 2,000 points of Drukhari Dark Eldar. Okay, and here's 2,000 points of white scars. Martin, all the way from the UK.
Yeah.
You decided to pack something easy.
Yeah, it's what I could fit in a case, basically. So,
awesome. So let's go through it. What did you bring today?
So, leading the army is Khosrow Khan, as you would expect.
Right.
On Moondraken, I've then got Librarian, who's got Nullzode and Smite.
Very cool.
And a Force Sword. There are then 3 units of bikes, each with a sergeant and chainsword. Sorry, not chainswords, flamer. Each sergeant's got a flamer, combi flamer, and then melters on the 2 guys.
Very cool.
In each unit, 3 triple Las Predators.
Lance, well, last cannon.
Yeah, lots of Las. And then Storm Talon, Salt Cannon, and Skyhammer missiles.
Yep.
And then I must apologise because these 2 Storm Ravens, these are actually auto cannons, not las cannons. I've just realised that.
Assault cannons.
Assault cannons, sorry.
Yeah.
I've not packed them in the case, so hopefully that's going to be okay.
Oh, that should be fine. I don't think anybody will give you fault. And last, to round it off.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and then the important guy, the Vindicator Assassin.
Ooh.
With all that character goodness.
Very cool. So that's 2,000 points. Lots of shooting and moving. So this is, of course, an index list because the tournament we're practicing for is straight out of the index, hence why Khosrow Khan is on a bike still. And moving on to mission. Okay, so with deployment set and Khan and his Librarian poised to do damage against the Dark Kin, with Archon Skari over here in his Succubus and Witch Cult Raider in waiting, will the White Scars, sworn enemies of the Dark Kin, seize the initiative?
Lightning bolts, come on.
And that's
the exact opposite.
I know, that's what we call an Australian 6. Okay, and moving on to Drukhari, turn 1. Drukhari, turn 1. So, I took my Maelstrom card. It was Harness the Warp, or Master of the Warp. And I don't have any Psychers, so I was not able to gain any Maelstrom points this turn. In turn, I decided to go first. Well, I did go first, and I essentially moved up rather conservatively, ready to get points for the next turn. And shooting on my end, after dropping a bomb on these bikes, was focusing fire on the 3-man unit bikes, wiping them out, and killing one of the Storm Ravens to gain first blood. So now we're moving on to the White Scars' first turn. They get 1 card for Maelstrom to start with. And they also got Masters of the Warp. Luckily for Martin, he does have a Librarian. So we've got the Witches have kind of moved up here to get out of charge arcs. We've got the Trueborn sacrificing themselves with the Archon. We've got some Cablite Warriors, and then the Ravagers with the Reaver Jet Bikes in reserve. And I did bring the Scourge back down here in the back. Even though they have Heat Lances, a bit of a weird choice, but if those flyers decide to fly over my army, then they have to deal with them. And then we've got the Ravager on the flank as well. I tried to mitigate the firepower of the Predators while doing as much damage to the enemy army as possible. So, on to White Scars, turn 1. The White Scars have taken the first turn and gone directly for the head, taking out Archon Skari after a well-placed null zone from the Librarian knocked out all the invulnerable saves in a radius. That meant that the bikers were able to annihilate with some shooting from the Predators and some melters to kill that raider. Their bikers then charged with a good 10-inch charge from the Librarian. My Archon is finally dead. Because that null zone was great, actually. The Trueborn have lost 6 of their members. There's 2 left, and I had to burn 2 points to make them stay. This raider got shot by a variety of things. The Storm Raven, the Storm Talon, it has 2 wounds remaining. And my Void Raven took a couple of last cannons to the face and only has 3 wounds left as this Predator scored a direct hit. So we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 2. The White Scars have gained Slay the Warlord and did indeed master the Warp with 2 successful psychic powers, which will give them a couple of Maelstrom points. So now, the Dark Eldar, so they get 1 point for the Maelstrom points. The Dark Eldar now go on to their second turn, and I do have 1 and 2 and 3 objectives for 3 Maelstrom objective cards. Drukhari, turn 2. My Maelstrom cards: Kill the Witch, Advance, and Secure Objective 4. Instead of holding Objective 4, I went for an Advance, so I moved everything out of my deployment zone and tried to kill these bikers and the Librarian, which was a plan that epically failed when my Scourge decided to horribly mess with the Heat Lances. I did kill the other Storm Raven with my Lances, which was very, very good. And I did bring 10 wounds down from this Predator, but I failed to charge with this Raider. So I was unable to tie it up in combat and tie this one up in combat in the ensuing consolidation. My Reaver jet bikes did charge into the Vindicare Assassin and lost 1 jet bike, and I did take 2 wounds off the Storm Talon in combat. But other than that, we're moving on to the next turn. The White Scars do get 1 Maelstrom card for having Objective 3. And so far, I have 1 Maelstrom point for Advance and First Blood, and Martin has Warlord, and he got 1 point for Master of the Warp. So it's a very tight game going into turn 2 for the White Scars, and things are already starting to die like crazy. Okay, moving on to turn 2. And this is the White Scars' second turn. So the Predators decided to hold still, and sporadic shooting from the Predators did finally kill the Void Raven and put 2 wounds on that Raider with the 2 Trueborn with blasters in it that are left, while this Ravager took 5 wounds with last cannon fire. I did lose 4 of the Reaver jet bikes as Kasaro Khan charged in with his blade and cut them down, but the 1 biker did put 1 wound on Kasaro Khan. This Raider exploded, or died, didn't explode, and the warriors, the 2 units of warriors, have gotten out. while this little Storm Talon fired into the Scourge and failed to do any damage. It can only move 20 inches. So even though he was ordered to capture Objective 2, he was unable to get there. Null Zone failed to go off, which really helped the Witches, and I did put 1 wound on the Librarian, and that biker's still alive. But these 2 bikers charged in, and I didn't lose any Witches to combat, but I did lose 3 Witches to shooting and 1 to morale. So we're moving on to Drukhari, turn 3. Oh no, turn 4 now, because it is the... no, turn 3. Wow, that was only a second turn. That is incredible. Okay, moving on to turn 3, and there's not much left alive. I'm back from a Blue Jays game. Okay, so turn 3 for the Drukhari. We had the Scourge move back to hold Objective 2 from the now no longer existent Storm Talon, because they shot it out of the sky. These Cowblight Warriors moved in advance and were just shy of capturing Objective 4. Meanwhile, in the swirling combat in the middle of the battlefield, nothing happened except for 1 bike dying as the Agonizer Hecatrix has laid him low. All other shooting from this flank tried to shoot into Khazarah Khan, did 1 wound to him. While on this flank, we finally killed 1 Predator, took the last wound off him, put 5 wounds on that Predator, and in combat put 1 wound on that Predator with the Mandrakes that had appeared here and charged in to tie and lock up the firebase. Meanwhile, in the ruins, the Vindicare Assassin finds himself confronted in combat by a Ravager that is now tying him down. So we're looking at turn 3 for the White Scars, but no Maelstrom points have gone to the Dark Eldar. Let's see what happens after this fateful turn. White Scars turn 3 was a very quick turn. We had both the Predators advance up the middle, go around this Raider to put pressure on the centralized objectives and try and keep their forces consolidated. In the meantime, 2 of the Witches have fallen as the pistols from the bikers shot into them, cutting them down. And Khazarah Khan did kill 3 of these Cowblight Warriors in combat to prevent them from getting to Objective 4. He hasn't taken any damage, while the Librarian did take 1 more wound. But he's still alive with 3 wounds left while he battles the Succubus and the Witches, and now there is an opening there for him to get away from combat if he is not felled. So moving on to Dark Eldar, Drukhari, turn 4. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the objectives, which means I would be able to get 5 cards, but I already have 3 in play, so I only get to select 3 cards, up to a maximum of 6. And we're moving on to turn 4.
Was there anything else in that unit?
Okay, we had turn 4 for the Dark Eldar. So I fell back to secure Objective 4, and I boosted and advanced my jet bike from the center all the way over here to hide. Meanwhile, the Scourge jumped out from Objective 2, and 5 Heat Lancers put 1 wound on gun. I did fall back with my 1 wound Ravager over here, and I did indeed charge in with this Raider to hold up the Assassin for another turn. Shooting saw the 5 wound Predator die, and I put 2 more wounds on that Predator with all my other shooting. But my Mandrakes have succeeded in giving me hold the line. I still haven't been able to get Assassinate or Warlord. I did secure Objective 4, and I am getting behind enemy lines, even though it's only with 1 model. So we're 3 more points to the Dark Eldar cause. And now we're moving on to White Scars, turn 4, and this Hecatrix holding up the close combat has proven to be a thorn in Martin's side. On to the next turn. Okay, so White Scars turn 4. The Hecatrix died to a good pistol shot from the Librarian to the face. And then other shooting was uneventful. We had this Predator advance and get out of here, go to Objective 6. Technically, though, can't advance when you fall back, though. Just remember that in my head. Yeah, it's all good, doesn't matter. And then the Khan moved back from over here and tried to charge into my 1 wounded Ravager, only to die to 2 lance shots that hit him on Overwatch. Terrible luck there on behalf of the White Scars Warlord, giving me Assassinate at the end of the turn. And then the 2 Bikers and the Librarian charged in and killed the 3 remaining Cavalite Warriors, hoping to take and secure Objective 1. But things are looking relatively grim for the White Scars, as I did get Defend Objective 5 at the end of that turn, and I also got, oh yeah, that was it, I got 2 there, right? Okay, oh, I got Assassinate and Warlord. Yeah, so it was a big turn for the Dark Eldar, even though it was the White Scars turn. Interesting turn of effects. So, it is turn 5. Could be the end of the game. And because it's retrieval, that objective matters for the end of the game. This objective matters for the end of the game. This objective matters for the end of the game. And this objective matters for the end of the game. So, we're moving on to turn 5. So Dark Eldar turn 5, it was ruthless determination at the end, as the Drukhari finished off the Librarian and the Bikes and did put a wound on the Assassin, even though the Assassin put 2 wounds on the Raider. And with that, the Drukhari have successfully secured Objective 5, have taken Witch Hunter, and did kill the last Biker in close combat for blood and guts. And with the Maelstrom points and the entire game quickly falling out of the White Scars' control, we have decided to end the game. Thank you for the game, sir. Okay, so let's do a quick little recap here. The good, the bad, the ugly. What did you like?
Downright miserable dice.
Right at the end there, right? Lances are powerful. But where do you think that the game would have, say, turned for you? Would have you played anything differently, knowing now what the Drukhari can do?
No, first turn was brutal. You took a Storm Raven out first turn, and you put enough pain on the other Storm Raven to reduce it. And the Lancers are just so powerful. And obviously, I understand that we're on Las, but every time you just kept negating my tanks by locking them into a combat.
I think that was that turn 3 when my Mandrakes came in and charged into the 2 Predators. That really kind of sealed it. So, yeah. If they would have failed that charge and the Predators would have continued shooting, you know, my tanks were not safe. So I needed to lock them into combat. It's
the fly keyword as well, isn't it? That being able to, you can disengage and still shoot.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Yeah. Although when the new, this is Index of course, but the new Marine book has a lot of different ways to allow with with command points and stuff to get models to fall back and shoot and different command things. But other than that, thanks a lot for tuning in. Make sure you check out Wargames UK for all your orders online, and if you'd like to become a patron, check the links down below to help me make content like this. After all, this is Skari, your grateful host, signing off till next time. Skari out.